Welcome to Algebra Revision. This lesson we will go through all of the main concepts in regards to algebra and getting students ready for the beginning of the Year 11 course. So the first one we'll look at is like terms and adding and subtracting of those. So reminder that like terms have the same pronumerals, whether it be just a single pronumeral like a letter A or an x squared, or it might have two pronumerals like an M and an N, doesn't matter which order. Just be aware they're like terms and you can add and subtract those. We're going to have a look at two quick questions, so simplify the first one and the second one. So in regards to the first one, I've distinctly done this so that we can understand what the difference between the like terms are. So the ones I've highlighted in yellow, they have an x squared and a y, both of those terms, and we take the coefficient that's in front. So the coefficient of the first one is a 3, and of the second one it's a -5. So we'll be able to subtract those in this case. The ones in blue are different to the ones in yellow because they have an x and a y squared. So therefore they are like terms. And the 7, which is highlighted in green, is by itself. So we'll leave it at the end. So working through that, you get minus 2x squared y plus 6xy squared plus 7. With the second one, let's have a look at what are the like terms first. So notice that the first two terms have an x and a y. Doesn't matter the order, but they both have an x and a y. The third and the fifth term, one is a -x and the other one is a plus 5x. And then we've got the y by itself. So that gives us 11xy plus 4x plus y. When we multiply and divide terms, we have a bunch of index laws. So the first one is when you multiply, you can add your indices or your indexes. When we divide, we can subtract. The third one is a power of power law. So that's when I have a to the m to the n, that becomes a to the mn. When I've got two terms, I've got a term but two pronumerals, I can make them both to the power of m, and that goes whether I'm multiplying or dividing. So let's have a look at some examples. So simplifying the following, so when we multiply, we add, dividing, and power. So when we multiply, we're going to add the indices of the a's. We're also going to add the indices of the b's. So that b that was by itself had an imaginary 1. I've added it in just for this purpose. You don't need it. But 3 plus 5 for the a's makes 8, and 6 plus 1 for the b's makes 7. When you divide, you subtract. So we're going to subtract the a's, we'll subtract the b's. So 3 minus 5 for the a's is -2, and 6 minus 1 for the b's is 5. We will get a little bit further on with negative indices, but a negative indice can be written on the bottom. So the a is to the -2. So that a to the -2 can actually be written as a positive indice as long as it's on the bottom of the fraction. And the final one, all of these we're going to make multiply the powers. So the 3 has an imaginary power of 1. That just makes it helpful when we recognize that. So that'll be 3 to the 1 times 4. Then we'll do 3 times 4 and 6 times 4. So that'll get us 3 to the power of 4, a to the power of 12, b to the 24, and 3 to the 4 on your calculator is 81. One final thing is with substitution. This is when we replace a pronumeral with the value that's given to us. Now each question, the pronumeral will be different, so don't just use the same number for every question. It's whatever the question gives you. And the reason I'm doing this is just to be careful when you substitute a negative. If you do that on your calculator and you don't use a bracket, it will give you an incorrect answer. So for this one, we're giving that a is 3 and b is -4. So we want to evaluate a cubed plus b squared. So 3 to the power of 3 plus making sure we put the negative inside a bracket. So that's -4 squared. That gives us 43 as an answer. Thank you.